Hello everyone. I finished the rigging, so I just thought I'd make this video so I could give you a run through of how the rig works. So we'll start with the torso. Pretty much the whole rig is controlled by these curves, so you don't need to worry about touching the IKs or the joints themselves. I've got those locked anyway, so you won't have to. So you start by selecting this one here. It's called hip rotates. It's the lower of these two curves, and you simply rotate on the y-axis. You can also bend over on the x-axis, and we have here chest rotates. Yeah, all of the arm handles are parented to this chest rotate, so they rotate with it. As you'll see here, when I rotate on the y-axis, sorry about that, you can also bend it as well on the x-axis. But the main part I wanted to show you were the IK and FK switches in the arms. This arm is currently set to FK. I'm sure you're familiar with FK, but it works in that conventional way by selecting the curves. I've got this curve's called left shoulder FK, this one's left elbow FK, and I've got another curve. It's quite small, but it's called IK. I named it IK FK wrist controller, but that's because you can use it to switch between the two, and it works in both modes anyway. But it's fairly simple. So it rotates. You can do the same with this. I may need to paint a few more weights, but it seems to work anyway. Now, for IK and FK, well, to switch to IK, I mean, you could either do it from this controller, which I named fingers, or from the wrist controller. But whichever one, you just select, and you'll see there's an attribute here called IK switch. In order to switch to IK, you simply put a 1 in this field, and you can see that the wrist snapped into the IK handle. And how you move it is with the move tool pivots. It's also fairly straightforward. You can rotate it. Sorry. One more thing I'll show you in the IK modes. This locator here, which I will call left wrist locator. Always remember to name your elements. Yeah, this works simply with a move tool, and you can control the angle of the elbow. Now, in order to switch back to FK, you simply go to IK switch and put a 0 in this field, and you see it's back to FK. We'll even check that to see if it works. Yes. Also remember that you can keyframe the IK switch, so you could easily switch between IK and FK in the same animation. Next I'll show you the fingers, how these fingers work. They're all in position, but if you move it out, the finger bends inwards. I could do that with all of these fingers. And with the thumb. And these curves are all parented to this fingers curve that I created, so don't worry about moving the arm out of place, it will all stick with the controller. Next I shall show you the robotic arm. This one is probably easier to operate than the organic arm actually, as it just consists entirely of curves. There are no IK handles or joints or anything in this arm. I'll start with the right shoulder rotate. This only rotates on the x-axis and it moves within its socket. It doesn't come out of the socket, as I know we were experiencing earlier in the project. Let's stick that back to 0 for the time being. Next part of this arm, we've got the right shoulder controller, the right elbow controller, and the right wrist controller. These all rotate on the z-axis and they all remain within their place. You only need to rotate these curves to move. Just one thing I'll mention, I've locked all the mesh so you won't have to worry about accidentally touching that. And I've locked all the joints. Now I'll show you these fingers. It's a similar system. It's almost like the rest of the arm in miniature. Basically we've got these horizontal and vertical curves. I'll show you on this finger. It's called lower second finger rotate. That's because it's the lower half of the second finger. This is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. And it rotates the whole finger like so. I may need to lock a few attributes. There's also this curve here, which is in the lower knuckle, if you like, and that's how you rotate the whole finger on the z-axis. It's called a lower knuckle second finger, and the upper half of the finger works in exactly the same way. You rotate this bit and this bit can come down on the z-axis. Likewise with the third finger, as you'll see, and with the first finger. I'll just set this all back to normal. Haven't done that one. Lastly, I'll show you the legs. Now, how you move these legs you select the left foot curve. That's the biggest curve right at the bottom. This is an IK setting. I've managed to make IK and FK coexist in the legs, and you move it like so, and it bends okay. Same as with the elbow in the left arm, you can move the angle of the knee with a simple locator. Oops. I'll just move that in place. Oh, and remember that you can rotate the angle of the foot manually by simply moving to the rotate tool and rotating like this. You can also bend the knee. By the FK. You can do everything you can do with the left leg, you can do with the right leg. Now, the last thing I'll show you, to move this whole rig, I've created this large curve right around his hip called the Master Controller. Now, to move this, you simply use the Move tool, you click it, which selects everything in the geometry. Go away. And so it works. So that's about it. So if there's any questions or any issues that you have with this rig, just give me a shout, either at uni or give me a call. And yeah, I hope this rig works well in our projects.